Hey, what's up guys, Dustin here, ATEM Off-Road. Thanks for stopping by and checking out today's video. So as you can see, I got this really cool Brawlee light on the glass of our tailgate. And I've also installed a 12-volt cigarette lighter socket so I can charge my power generator and have access to multiple accessories while camping and wheeling on the trail. And I did all of that by tapping into the 12-volt constant power source on the Mopar tow package of our Jeep. I didn't have to run any wires or have any controllers to do this. It was simply just pulling off of the tow package and adding some components. That way we can plug in our accessories and our switched light. So I'm going to share with you how we did that in today's video. Let's get to work. I went and picked up this flush mount accessory block. It basically drills 2 screws, secures to a flush surface, and that's where we're going to be installing our 12-volt cigarette lighter socket in there. And then I've also taken a stepper drill bit, one here on my drill bit, and I've kind of made a hole to size to fit one of these LED switches, toggle switch. And I'm going to share with you how I'm going to install this. In this kit, it comes with 2 90-degree crimp-on connectors. So I've taken some long 12-volt cable where we're going to attach to our power source. And then I've got this switch wired in with the connectors as well. You want to make sure it's long enough, that way it will be able to reach to our 12-volt source. And then I'll go ahead and add the switch. So now I have this remaining wire. This is going to be the hot to our light on the glass. And then these 2 wires are going to be our power supply, positive and negative. So now I'm going to go ahead and take this unit and secure it to our plastic cowl we have for the interior. All right, so there's going to be 3 bolts that attach this cover to the back end over the wheel well. There's going to be 2 bolts that are T30s down here, one here, and then around the corner behind the safety belt, there's going to be a 10mm nut on a stud. You're going to want to make sure you pull that off, and then you can pull this whole entire cover off, just like so. You want to be careful when removing this panel because it has a hook right here, so you have to move it off of that stud on the tub, and then this piece will come off. So we're going to drill 3 holes, 2 for the screws to mount that block to here, and then 1 for the wires to pass through. Okay, so this is going to be the wiring for our light. It's just a cable with some small, like 22 gauge, really small wires. And in the kit, which is right here, they come with some of these wire splice connectors. We're going to be using those, and then I'm just going to basically splice the hot into our switch and then our ground into the same ground that I'm using for the 12-volt cigarette lighter. And then I crimped on an eyelet for the ground. Taken my grinder and kind of grinded off the paint right here so there's a good solid connection, and I've removed that bolt there. It's going to be the 2030 Torx, and then I'm going to go ahead and bolt this wire to that spot there, and we'll go ahead and tighten it up, make sure it's real nice and snug. These 2 cables, I'm going to tuck them up underneath this piece of foam here, and I've got the cable for the light all coming down here. I'm going to go ahead and put this back on. Now there's going to be this pin right here that's going to go right here on the plastic piece. You want to make sure that gets pushed right into the pen, so you want to make sure that's good, and then get it all lined up, and then we'll go ahead and start landing our connections to power. I'm going to go ahead and set this in like so. And it looks like that, sounds like that just snapped in. We have our seatbelt cover over here. We want to make sure that piece is hooked on back here, and we'll go ahead and tighten up this nut with a 10mm socket. And then we have this cover here We'll install that, and that all just snaps in real nice to the back, and then the seatbelt cover goes in right there real nice and snaps in. And then we'll have our wires underneath here. This is the cable for the light, and then we'll go ahead and put our bolts in to finish the install of the cover, getting that back on. So once you have all the jacks and the tools set off to the side, you can see this space right here. There's a rubber drain hole. Just go like that, and you can have access to the outside from the inside. We're gonna leave that in there. I'm gonna drill a small hole, and what that's gonna do is provide a hole, like a watertight hole. That way, the insulation of the wire will still help seal that hole up, but we'll still be able to get past this wire through. Just like that. And then I'll be able to pass this wire down the bottom of the Jeep. And put our plug back in. Add a fuse, inline fuse, to protect anything that we plug into the circuit. So all we have to do is just cut it, strip some wires back. These are some strippers, like so. Connector here, crimp it on, like so. Crimp that on just like so. So now we can add that into the wire, and we'll just cut this wire, strip this one back as well. Just like that. Very nice. And this to this side. Very nice. And just a little pro tip, you want to snug on these, make sure they're nice and tight, and that looks pretty tight. I'm going to be adding a 20 amp fuse in line, and that will be sufficient enough to protect the loads that we're going to be plugging into. Just remember, we don't want to use more than 20 amps, and it should also protect our wires as well. And we'll go ahead and just leave this in here nice and neat. Anytime we have a non-working system, we can always just come in here and check our fuse. So just got to remember, we have our protection in here with all of our tooling, and we'll go ahead and put all of our tools back. Okay, so this is the tow package that you have from Jeep. There's a lot of good information here. It tells you what connections are what and what they land for. As you can see, there's obviously a ground and a positive connection up here at the top. That's going to be the red wire in the back of this unit here. The light turns on, that means there's 12 volts there. We're gonna use that to power on our 12 volt cigarette lighter and the light for the glass. I'm just gonna kind of open up this tape and get back in here into the wire. Okay, so that's gonna be the red wire that we're gonna be using. It's also protected up front at the distribution of the panel. I'm gonna go ahead and cut that in, and we'll splice our wire, our new wire, to that one, and then we have always 12 volts to that cigarette lighter and the tail light. This is more of like a heat shield because of the exhaust is right here. So you want to make sure that you kind of put these wires back in where they're going to be protected from the heat of the exhaust. All right, so that looks really good. I'm going to go ahead and plug this connector back into the female connector. You want to hear a snap, and then you can lock that connector back in. I have the wire right here. I'm gonna take some heat shielding and shield it up, tape it around, make it look real nice, and then we'll have it off to the side. All right, so this is what it's gonna look like when everything's done up under here, and we're pretty much done with this part. So now we have our cable here. We're going to basically run it along the underneath this weather stripping, so it's protected. And then I'm gonna remove this bolt right here and then move it up. And move this off. And we'll just put it right in along the rubber on the side of the tub there. And then close everything back up. get our bolt back installed. Good. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this stuff back in. If your Jeep has that tow package, you're gonna find that there is some protection right here where they pull the power for that tow package, and there's gonna be a 20 amp fuse that's basically protecting the circuit for the trailer. And we also have an additional fuse, 20 amps, protecting our new circuit that we installed off of this. So just keep in mind, this is definitely gonna be protecting your trailer and the circuits. There's gonna be some 3M tape on the back. I'm gonna go ahead and remove that. And I'm gonna take some alcohol and a clean towel. And we're just going to wipe clean the back end of the glass. All right, so now we've got it stuck to the glass. So next I'm gonna stick these cable tie mounts, evenly space them on the glass. So we're just gonna put the wires in there like this and then snap it closed. Should hear a snapping noise. Real nice. We're gonna come behind the shock here, and then we're gonna leave a nice little chunk of loose wire. I'm just gonna come over the top and down the side. Then we should end up over here where our plug-in is to plug in the light. And for now, I'm just going to have this plugged in, and it kind of locks in position, and then I think it'll be perfect right there. All the lighting and all the wiring looks good. The light is nice and secure. And I really like the option of having this switch to turn it on and off. And there's like I was saying, there's a little LED in case we forget to turn the light off. Maybe it's in the daylight and we don't see that it's on. We can always glance over here and see that there's a blue indicator light on. You just turn it off. And also the 12-volt power supply. Like I was saying, we'll have 12 volts all the time. We just plug it in, hit my switch, and now I have 12-volt lights. So I can move this around, attach it to the tub or the chassis of the frame of the Jeep. This is like a more of like a trail repair type of light when we might need some, we're doing a recovery or something, or need some extra light. For the most part, this will definitely illuminate the back end of the Jeep. So I'll see you guys in a minute. We're gonna come back at night and I'll show you some other things I like to plug into this, and I'll show you what the light looks like at night. All right guys, so I thought that was a pretty quick and easy install as far as the light. The wiring was pretty simple. We were able to tap off that 12 volts on the tow package and it all came together. If I were to make any changes, I would probably have this on the driver's side, but now I'm thinking maybe I'll have two of them, one on the driver, one on the passenger. There's gonna be a ton of different ways that you can get this installed on your Wrangler. It just depends on what best suits for you, but I'm really liking this light. Look how much light is surrounding the Jeep in the cargo space over where I cook on the trail right here and the surrounding areas. This is going to be really nice in those really dark areas where we do camping. So the light I thought came out really cool. We can turn it on and off anytime we want at any moment without worrying about the dome lights in the Jeep being on or left on. So I really like that. And then the 12-volt socket, that's a game changer all in itself. We'll have access to multiple lights and accessories on the trail, air pumps, things like that. And we'll also be able to stow our power generators back here while charging them on the trail, getting to the camp spot. So it makes a lot of sense. So we're gonna end the video here. I really hope you guys liked it. Thank you for staying to the end of the video. And if you're interested in any of the materials that I used in this video, check out the description box below. I'll leave all the links there. And yeah, we'll see you guys on the trail. Thanks for stopping by and thanks for watching. We'll see you soon. Peace out.